Hey, come on in this room. Come on. Come on in. Come on in this room right now. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can figure out who's first today. Let's see. Here we go. Hey. Okay, let's see. Lakeitha is first today. Hey. Okay, let's see. Lakeitha. All right, Jean is on today. Janet, give you the heart. Joe, good to see you. Sabrina is on. Thank you for joining us. The amazing Ann Allen Westbrook, representing District 163, on with us. Barbara Dolores is on. Harmony got some great news this week. Very happy for you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see Jamal, my double brother, on. Barbara is on as well. Talia has joined us. The Honorable Linda Jones has joined us. Patricia Johnson is on. Carolyn Scott is with us. Chakia, thank you for joining us. Gloria Wells is on. Angela Mitchell is on. Angela Kirkland is on. We got a bunch of same names. I had Barbara Dolores, Barbara Austin. I have, Gloria. I have Angela Mitchell and Angela Kirkland. Cheryl is on with us. Chad Howard, good evening. E. Joyce Paris is with us every single week. Bernice from King County is on as well. Good to see Jennifer Davenport, my great friend. Good to see you. Just saw the little one. Ethel Williams from the Highlands is on with us. Good to see my brother Harry Thompson as well. Good to have heard from Dr. Karen Cooper. Thank you so much for reaching out. Good to see Aunt Ollie is on with us. And Molly Lieberman is on. Happy Friday to you. And Mama Marsha has joined us. So that means that Molly let Mama Marsha come out long enough to play with us. Camilla, thank you for joining us. Shireen, thank you for joining us. Hello. Good to see Mary Thomas on. O.C. Welch, good to see you. God bless you, sir. And God bless America. Lita is on with us. Good to see Lita. Catherine is on. Katina has joined us. Kathy is on with us. Good to see you. Good to see the Honorable Tina Day Broughton from Pensacola, Florida. Good to see you. Good to see our resident Friday Night Liver from Reno, Nevada. Linda Kelly is on with us. Angie is on with us. Good to see you. Shauna Moss, thank you for joining us. Good to see Elder Erica on, which means then that Maya is on. Hey, Maya, you haven't called me, girl. What's up? Why you ain't called me? I've been waiting for you to call me, Maya. Marsha Silverman, good to see you. Shireen is on from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Shalita, thank you for joining us as well. Stephanie Gibbs, good to see you, Steph. And good to see Sharon Akins. And I don't know what you're talking about, Sharon, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Good to see Rick. Good to see you, sir. Angie Johnson is on with us. Thank you for joining us. Christina, I did not get it printed out yet, but I love it. I have. I just haven't had a chance to really get it done, but I'm going to get it done. I promise you that. Lily Reddick, thank you for joining us as well. And Sharon, we are not going there. We're not doing that, Sharon. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Sharon, we ain't doing it. Everybody knows what Friday night really is. So good to see Barbara Kaufman on with us. Brother Keith, good to see you. Good to see Pranesha on with us. Brother Richard Dinkins and his lovely wife, Joya, thank you for joining us. Patricia is on with us as well. And Julia Dinkins is on. Deanna has joined us. Thank you for joining us. And good to see Miss Julia on. So everybody, y'all give Miss Julia love. Y'all know how we do. Good to see Dee Dee Middleton on with us as well. And Sharon, again, I want you to be nice. Douglas Morris, you want to follow our discussion? Okay, I will do that. Z, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Dr. Priscilla Williams, good to see you. Catherine Grant, thank you for joining us. Michelle and Mr. Bill, I hope you are doing better now. Thank you so much. And again, Sharon, we're not following you up with this. We gonna be nice, and we stay high, right? We stay high. So I need y'all's help to stay high, right? So Bunny Ware is on. Yeah, Bunny, I'm gonna be there. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it, because I think I'm supposed to be jumping out of this plane tomorrow. So we're gonna see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to it. And Josie is on with us. Thank you, Josie, for joining us. Shauna Kennedy, hope you're doing well. Hope you're back. Trish Howard is on with us. Yeah, Marsha Scott is on. Yeah, I figured, the whole Bunny Ware, Bunny Ware doesn't really live here. Bunny Ware is like everywhere. And so, she might be in the Appalachian Mountains. She might be out Rushmore. It's just wherever she is. So I don't know where she is today, but good to see her as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we'll go ahead and we'll kick into gear. Certainly we'll say hello to more people that come in. But there's only one thing happening on Friday night. I think I'm jumping into Forsyth Park. So that's what it was supposed to be, that, I'm jumping with the Army paratroopers into Forsyth Park, the Golden Knights, I believe. Good to see Alan Wright on. Good to see Felicia Roberts. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And Sarah Stevens, Liberty City's finest and Liberty County's finest. Good to see you all. Yeah. Hey, Janine Brown is on with us. And I'm glad you are keeping yourself busy. Good to see Pastor Thurman Neal Tillman of the First African Baptist Church. Hope you're doing well. Mardell Carter has joined us. Catherine Grant has joined us. Thank you, OC. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, sometimes people dare you to do stuff. So, hey, George, thank you for joining us. So, again, if I can get my nerve up, to do it, I'm going to do it. If I don't get my nerve up, I'm not going to do it. That's just, I figure it's just going to be a game time decision. Make sure. Dana has joined us. Hey, Dana, good to see you. But anyway, if it's Friday night, what's happening on Friday night. So, others can imitate it, but we can't be duplicated. It is Friday Night Live. Here we are again. And Ms. Banks, I'm still waiting on you to get to me from before, Ms. Banks. Don't be scared. I can do it. Everybody's saying do it now. Do it. To show Juanda, thank you. Good to see you. Y'all tell me to do it. Shannon is telling me not to do it. Sharon is saying don't do it. I don't know. It's Shauna's birthday all month. Anyway, Friday night, and you all know what we do on Friday nights. It is Friday night somewhere. Marsha, we are so happy to see you. It is Friday night. Yes. And so we want you to go ahead and share. Please do me a favor and please share this live tonight. Okay. Please. Joe, you're right. Hey, Bobby Ellington. Thank you so much. Glad to see you the other night. Thank you for your support. But I really need you to share this video tonight. This is some really good stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. I need you all to share this video. This is stuff that's really going to help you, and it's a follow-up to what we talked about last week. So here we are. It is Friday Night Live, and we want you to share the video. Please go ahead and share the video. Oh, yeah, by the way, why we can't be duplicated, why we can't be imitated. Why? Because for us, this is week number 181. 181. All right. So we've been doing this for 181 weeks. 1,269 days, 3 years and 5 months, or 41 straight months, every single Friday night, we have gotten together and we continue to get together. That's why we can't be imitated. That's why we can't be duplicated. Why? Because we are community, and I have you to thank for that. Every single Friday night, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, y'all have been all over the place, and we have gotten together. So, I mean, and we've been on Friday night. We ain't just got here. We've been here. How long you been here? 181 weeks. So, so that's what we do. That's what we do. So, do me a favor. You know we show love to our girl Tara. So here it is. Tara Strong, y'all. Tara Strong. Tara Strong. Sending out love to our girl Tara. And that's what we got Tara on. And so I have a guest tonight, actually, which is why I'm on the Zoom platform. We're going to do the guest, and we're going to talk about some things that are really, really important. And then I got some really important updates I want to share with you. Well, let me do one of the updates first. Very excited that this week I announced, it took us almost 2 years to get this done. But we were able to work out a deal with the Georgia Ports Authority, a multi-year agreement with the Georgia Ports Authority to invest $750,000 every year for at least 8 years, totaling about $6 million to the city of Savannah through our Housing Savannah Incorporated and our Community Housing Services Agency. This is huge because Georgia Ports is a quasi-government organization. You know, they are from the state of Georgia. You know, they have a board that, you know, the governor appoints. But really, we were able to, over a couple of years, really talk to them about the importance of housing, the importance of affordable housing, what that means in communities, particularly in portside communities. So we call this the Port of Savannah's Area Workforce Housing Initiative. Again, $6 million over 8 years, which will prioritize home repairs for existing neighborhood residents in the areas that are around the port: Brickyard, Carver Village, Cloverdale, College Brownsville, Hudson Hill, Geachington, Tremont Park, West Savannah, and Woodville. And this is through the repair, construction, and purchase of affordable and workforce housing that benefits low and moderate income homeowners. So I'm really excited about this. Thank you, Patricia, because for us, this is a long time coming, but it's really about partnerships, and it's about leadership, and it's about creating ways of working with people that don't have to work with you. And so I appreciate the ports for stepping up. Obviously, our port is doing better. They are doing phenomenal things. And so as a part of that, they recognize that, you know, they have to be able to help us in this affordable housing crisis that we're in. So $6 million is the largest investment in our Housing Savannah initiative since its inception. And again, you know, that's how you do it. You do it by building coalitions. You do it by working together. And again, just excited, very happy, thankful to, again, the ports of Savannah, the Ports Authority, certainly Team Savannah, our city manager, Jay Melder. And, you know, we worked hard on this, and we are glad to have this done. So we'll roll out more about it later on. Hey, Faye Law, good to see you. Hope you are getting your song together. But let me go ahead and get to my guest, because this is really, 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 really important stuff, okay? So we'll go ahead and get my guest on. And I am so glad to have with us, let me see. There you go. We talked a lot about this last week. Hey, Chelsea. Can you hear me?
I can. I was trying to turn off my own live feed so that I could not hear it in two places. Good evening.
Well, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Chelsea Sawyer is with the Chatham Emergency Management Agency. As you know, she is a very important person in our community. Why? Because she helps us to be safe. And you know, as I know, we really skipped a bullet last week with Hurricane Idalia. There is a big, mean, nasty looking hurricane out there, and we don't know what it's going to do, but it's a huge hurricane. And last week we talked a lot with our Friday Night Livers that a lot of us weren't really prepared. You know, we said, oh, we'll be all right because we were expecting to evacuate. And we really didn't take into consideration what would happen if we stayed home. And so if you would, and I'm gonna turn it over to you. I want to know, what's your assessment so far of this storm? And I guess I'm gonna have to let you share my screen. But also about ways that we can be prepared, because we still got, 1, 2, 3 months to go before hurricane season is over. And for us, this is usually our worst time. So go ahead, you can have it.
All right, awesome. If you will give me the ability to share my screen, I would love to do that. While that's happening, yes, we absolutely dodged a bullet last week. There were certainly some times where it was a little bit dicey and we were a little concerned with the storm that was kind of coming through. I feel like a lot of times we are used to these kind of forward-facing storms from the Atlantic, like the one that you're talking about now. That is usually what we're talking about, and people are, I think, especially in Savannah, they're a little bit more prepared for those. But when you have a storm that is coming across the backside, that's a totally different experience. And I think that's why quite a few people were kind of caught unprepared for that. So this is the storm that Mayor Johnson was just talking about, Hurricane Lee. Mayor Johnson, can you confirm you can see the screen? Everything's kind of popping up?
Yes, we can see.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure before I kept talking into oblivion without making sure it was good to go. So this is what Mayor Johnson was just talking about. This is Hurricane Lee. Hurricane Lee is projected to be between a Category 4, the high-end Category 4, and a Category 5 storm. It looks, as Mayor Johnson said, a little ominous right now. You see this giant storm that could potentially be heading this way. We are cautiously optimistic, as Director Jones would say, that this storm is not going to impact our area. Let me show you why. Because this is what the projections are showing. This is what we call these spaghetti models. They kind of look like spaghetti, but they are showing a sharp right turn up towards the north. But these are, just predictions. These are things that we are hoping are going to happen. But when's the last time a storm has done exactly what we expect and what we hope it to do? So we are going to plan for the worst, and we're going to hope for the best, and hope that that monstrous Category 5 hurricane is nowhere near the city of Savannah or Chatham County. But that kind of gives you a little bit of insight as to what these storms look like out in the Atlantic right now. There's another one following right behind it, Margot. She is hopefully going to stay out and be a fish storm as well. But Mayor Johnson asked me to come in this evening because we did have quite a few residents that the storm kind of caught them off guard last week. So I wanted to kind of just do some basic hurricane preparedness, really kind of focusing on what it looks like if we don't evacuate. Now, we will, of course, talk a little bit about evacuations, but I want to give you that upfront information. First of all, we all know categories of our hurricanes. There's 5 different categories. They go up to 157 miles per hour plus is that Cat 5. And then if it's below a Category 1, it's considered a tropical storm. Those primary threats, specifically within the city of Savannah and Chatham County, strong winds. You guys, we've got a massive tree canopy. It's gorgeous to look at. It can be dangerous depending on the types of winds that are coming into our community. Every hurricane has the potential of producing at least 1 tornado. SEMA was sharing information on our social media about that just earlier today. Storm surge is a huge threat for our community because we are a coastal community, and then that heavy rainfall and flooding. y'all can all think of at least one area in the city of Savannah that floods when it rains just a little bit too hard. We can all think about and see one of those areas. So when you have a hurricane, you have a storm like that, flooding is absolutely going to be a challenge for our community. Let's understand those tropical cyclones. They move in this counterclockwise motion, okay? That counterclockwise motion is important when you talk about breaking those up into different quadrants. The worst side of the storm is that forward right-hand quadrant. You guys, that storm last week, Hurricane Idalia, that had us on the upper or forward right-hand quadrant of the storm. That's why we were seeing some of those potentials of high amount of storm surge, high amount of rainfall. Now, as that storm started to speed up and kind of shift to the west some, we didn't see an incredible amount of impacts. I think some of the worst impacts we had were people just without power. But these tropical cyclones form and they get their energy from the hot water, the warm water in the ocean. So when it started to interact with the state of Florida and other parts of Georgia, it completely broke apart. And that's why we kind of saw the limited impacts that we did. All right, your family emergency plan. I promise I'm not going to make this overly boring. I'm going to try to make it as exciting as you can, talking about hurricanes. You need to make sure that you have a way to receive emergency alerts. If you didn't know that there were tornado warnings that happened during last week's storm, that is a problem. This is 2023. You need to have a way to receive emergency alerts directly to your phone. You can go to, you can use SEMA alerts. I promise they're pretty spectacular. I personally subscribe to them. I know Mayor Johnson does as well. You could also find a local news station, whichever one. All of them have their own versions of alerts. Find a way to receive them. What is your shelter plan? Not every storm are we going to evacuate. We just saw that last week. So what is your shelter plan? Do you feel safe staying in your home? There were people within the city of Savannah that did not feel safe staying in their home last week, and the city of Savannah had a great resource available for them. What is your shelter in place plan? And do you have the resources in place to be successful in that plan? What's your evacuation plan? We'll talk a little bit about evacuations in a few minutes. What's your family and household communications plan? How are you going to communicate with your friends, with your family, with your extended family of what it is that you are doing? And then lastly, what supplies you need. So let's talk about these supplies for a second. Mayor Johnson, when we were talking yesterday, he said, you know, it's great. Everybody seems to have a kit to be able to take themselves out and to evacuate themselves, but they didn't think about a kit sitting at home. Y'all, that's one of the easiest things to do. You can take your kit that you should be putting together every single hurricane season and put that in a closet inside of your home that is easily accessible. It would double points if you put it in a tornado safe area. I'm looking at mine right now in my house. It is underneath my stairs in a closet where I house all of my shoes. Put those kits, put those things inside of that area, and you are going to be set and ready to go. We recommend a 5-gallon emergency bucket. You can put it in a suitcase. This is one of our former staff members' suitcases. She was a little bit extra. You don't have to be this extra, but important things, food, water, important documents, and store it into that easy to access location. These are all things that you can consider putting in your emergency kit, but every emergency kit is going to be a little bit different. I know you guys saw me at the beginning. You'll see that I have really long curly hair. Mayor Johnson is very bald. I love you very much, Mayor Johnson, but you have no hair. Do we need the same things in our emergency kit when it comes to hair supplies? Absolutely not. I don't think Diva Curl shampoo is going to do a whole lot for you, Mayor. I'm sorry about that. I don't think that it's
my scalp needs to be moisturized. Okay. I'm
sure it does, but you do not need the gel and all the other things that I put into my hair. So our kits are going to look different. I have a 3-year-old that is incredibly sassy and way too much. And if she does not have her goldfish in the evenings, we are fixing to have a fight. So my emergency kit has goldfish. Mayor Johnson, do you need goldfish in your emergency kit?
I do not.
No, I didn't think so.
Hot pockets in mine.
No. So you need to make these specific to you. This is not Amazon.com or whatever box store. Type in an emergency kit. This is creating something that is specific to you, that are things that you will use. Now, this can be something that you can use to evacuate with, or again, something that you can keep here at home with you to use if we were in an extended power outage situation or a storm that was going to potentially be dangerous to our community. All right, let's talk about preparing for power outages. This is exactly what Mayor Johnson really wanted me to kind of get into. First of all, when we're talking food, if we are looking at potential for prolonged power outages, which newsflash is very possible within the city of Savannah and Chatham County, anytime we have some type of a tropical event, it's absolutely possible. One of the first things that you can start to do is freeze water. So before a storm, you can freeze containers of water. You can create your own blocks of ice. You can get those gel packs. My husband and I were drinking portions of bottled water, and we were freezing them in our deep freezer, because if you have a very full freezer, it is likely to last longer than a freezer that is not very full. So you want to put those to keep things as cold as possible. Turn the temperature down in your refrigerator and your freezer. Make it as cold as possible in those units, so that if you were to go without power, they are already at their highest level of chill. Purchase your ice, dry ice, blocks of ice, anything that you can to make sure that you are keeping those as cold as possible. And then y'all go ahead and purchase these non-perishable foods. Make a trip out to Second Harvest to see my friend Mary Jane Crouch. Get some of those non-perishable foods in lock. I ran up to Food Lion and I got some SpaghettiOs to keep my child just oh so happy, and those goldfish, so we weren't fixing to have a fight. But those are really tangible things that you can do to make sure that if you just bought all these groceries, we had a lot of phone calls coming into SEMA. I just bought all these groceries. What am I supposed to do? This is what you can do. It's very tangible. All right, preparing for a power outage when you are talking about safety and entertainment. Y'all charge these devices. Do not play with this. The night before, if we're expecting a storm coming in, Tuesday night, you should have been charging your device to the full strength that you possibly can. Consider purchasing external batteries, those little external batteries that you can get. They're a couple of dollars. I had a friend in Jacksonville that thought she was doing something. She bought one of these, did not charge it. Y'all don't be a Bonnie. Charge those external batteries. Please don't embarrass yourself by thinking you're going to plug into it and it's going to have battery. When you get them from the store, they will not be fully charged. Go ahead and gather your flashlights, gather all of your batteries, put them in one specific location. You don't need to be searching around your house in the dark for batteries because you have a flashlight but no batteries. And then go ahead and identify some entertainment items. If you have kids like I do, if you've got grandkids, nieces, nephews, whomever, whatever, y'all, I don't know how I survive without Disney Plus. That's how I live my life. We watch a whole lot of TV. So, and when TV goes out, when internet goes out, y'all better believe I have a portable DVD player that I use in that car, and that is fully charged and ready to go. So figure out what you can use and go ahead and get those charged up to the best of your ability as well. All right, other things to keep in mind when we're talking about a power outage. A refrigerator is good for 4 hours once you've lost power. Okay, so you're going to turn it up. You're going to make sure that it is as cold as possible. It will last about 4 hours once the power is out. After those 4 hours, you need to put those refrigerated perishable items in a cooler and make sure that you are cycling that ice. A freezer that is full will last about 48 hours. Will last about 48 hours. So do not open that refrigerator. Do not open that freezer. You want to keep those things as cold as possible. A freezer that is less full, about 24 hours is how long you're going to be able to keep that stuff cold. All right, let's talk a little bit about evacuations. Y'all should know these evacuation zones. There's 3 different evacuation zones in Chatham County: Harry Truman Parkway east to the coast, Harry Truman Parkway west to I-95, and I-95 over to the county line. Those are your 3 different evacuation zones.
Chelsea?
Yes.
All right, so quick, here it is, quick quiz.
Go for it.
Put it in the chat, y'all. what evacuation zone you're in. So you see evacuation zone A, evacuation zone B, evacuation zone C. So I just want you to put in the chat what evacuation zone you're in, because you need to know what zone you're in. So continue.
All right. I hope to see some correct answers. I'm monitoring this. Not that I know exactly where your house is, but we can figure it out. We'll
Yes.
get you set up. We will get you set up. All right. With that, with your evacuation zones, we have evacuation terminology, y'all. This is important to understand the difference. There is a difference. Evacuation order is a general statement urging and encouraging residents to evacuate the target area. Okay. A mandatory evacuation order, an executive directive, requires residents, visitors, business owners, anybody in the target area to evacuate. Personal discretion is not an option. The biggest distinction between the two: during a mandatory evacuation order, there is no legal obligation for first responders to respond once we reach sustained tropical storm force winds. That means that if there's a mandatory evacuation order and the winds are blowing, you call 911. There is no legal obligation for any first responder to come to your aid. So if you do not evacuate, you could truly be on your own for the first time in your entire life. It is a very dangerous situation for you to put yourself in. You were to start to have a heart attack, you were to fall down the stairs, you could be in a world of hurt. I have heard the 911 calls that have come in. It is a dangerous place to be in. If there's a mandatory evacuation order, you need to heed those evacuation warnings. One last thing about the mandatory evacuation order: if you choose to stay behind and you have a life insurance policy, it is fully up-to-date life insurance policy, and you were to perish in the storm, your life insurance policy is null and void, because you did not choose the life protective measures of heeding a mandatory evacuation order.
Really?
Yes.
So essentially, they figure you committed suicide.
Correct. So it would be completely null and void because you did not do anything you could to save your life.
So
You did not heed.
They're not having a GoFundMe to try to bury you because your life insurance that you worked so hard to keep up is null and void.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be a tragic situation for sure. So things to keep in mind with the mandatory evacuation order. All right, let's talk a little bit more about evacuation. We all know about contraflow of I-16. That's where all the lanes that are normally coming eastbound are all going westbound. There are a couple of things to keep in mind. If you are in that contraflow lane and you exit out of the contraflow lane, there are a couple of exits. They're listed here on the slide. If you exit out of that lane, there is no entrance back into that contraflow lane outside of Chatham County. The only way you can get into that contraflow lane is within Chatham County. So something to keep in mind. You're going to want to try to plan ahead and try to stay in that contraflow lane for as much as possible. Evacuation transportation, you guys know there's no denying there are people within our community that are not able to evacuate themselves due to a myriad of reasons. So there is government assisted evacuation transportation. You can get on any Chatham area transit bus to the Savannah Civic Center, and you will be taken to an inland county shelter. This is an opportunity for you to get out of Dodge. And a couple of things that you need to keep in mind is that you will be in a shelter environment. It will not be the most lavish environment that you will see, but you are guaranteed food and you are guaranteed a safe place to ride out the storm. Again, your shelter experience is not going to be incredibly lavish. You could be sleeping on the floor. You could have a cot depending on availability of resources. Hot meals are not guaranteed, but again, you're guaranteed meals and snacks, and you're guaranteed a place to be safe from that storm. And to be honest, that is more than you would be guaranteed staying in Savannah. Her hurricane registry is run by the Coastal Health District. It is a fantastic opportunity. If you know someone or you yourself have a functional access or medical need and need assistance evacuating, it is not something, Mayor Johnson and all my friends here, it is not something you wait until the last minute to apply for. It is something that you apply for now. On Monday, you can call this number and you can get yourself registered on that hurricane registry. All right, one of the last couple things I want to talk about is how you can stay informed. I said earlier, one of the most important things that you can do is find a way to receive emergency alerts. Right here, right now, you can take out your phone and you can text the word SEMA to the number 77295 and immediately sign up for SEMA alerts. You will know about tornado warnings. You will know about hurricane watches and warnings, and you'll know of things that are happening within our community that are directly related to emergency response. During an emergency, we've got our disaster website. You can follow us on social media. I know Mayor Johnson has a lot of information that's posted through the city of Savannah and his personal pages on social media. I know y'all know how to find that information, but make sure you have a way to receive those immediate emergency alerts. Last thing I will talk about is re-entry. There is a very serious process of getting people out of Chatham County during an emergency event, and there is a very serious process to get back in. It is not just an immediate, you come back in as soon as the wind stops blowing. It's not safe for you to do so. So there are 5 phases of re-entry. Residents of Chatham County cannot come back in until phase 4 unless you have a specific permit. So you work for a business or an industry or a hospital or a system that would require you to get back in earlier. So please, please, please keep in mind that just because the wind stopped blowing does not mean that it's safe for you to come back into our community. If just the storm last week, we had all these down trees and power outages and all kinds of challenges within our community. Imagine what a really large scale storm would look like. So please don't be beating down Mayor Johnson's door trying to figure out if you can get back in. We will let you know when it's safe for you to get back in to our community after the disaster. That is a very down and dirty conversation, but I will open up to you all for some questions.
All right, so here are some opportunity for some questions. Thank you so much, Chelsea. We appreciate you. And so we'll have some questions. I have a couple of them. And so the first one dealt with evacuation zones. Good to see you, Miss Sadie. She is our senior Friday Night Liver. Miss Sadie is 99 years old, and
Wow.
She works Facebook better than most of us. So if you could show us back the evacuation zones again, and
Absolutely.
help, let's go over it again. So people, they said it was kind of small and they couldn't see it. And
All right.
in the meantime, if you have questions, go ahead. The expert is here.
All right, so evacuation zones run the Harry Truman Parkway east to the coast. That's evacuation zone A. Evacuation zone B is the Harry Truman Parkway west over to I-95. You guys, that's most of the city of Savannah is going to be in that evacuation zone B. Evacuation zone C is I-95 west all the way to the Chatham County line.
So essentially, if you live on the islands, you're basically on evacuation zone A.
Correct. Yeah. So if you have an island in your name, you are probably zone A.
And if you're in the city of Savannah, for the most part, you're probably in B.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
If you're in West Chatham areas.
Yeah. West Chatham areas are really going to be that zone C. Population. So there's going to be some sections, I'm trying to zoom in, some sections of like the Highlands that are going to be in zone C, but a good chunk of the city of Savannah proper is going to be in that zone B.
Right. And so the pinkish one is A, the yellow is B, and the purple is C.
Oh, that's red, Mayor Johnson. This zone A is, yeah, that's red.
It looks kind of like peachish to me.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. So, is there an evacuation zone map, a link that I could drop? Because some people want to look at it a little more closely.
Yeah, absolutely. I will.
We'll get that. And I will put it up. Next question was, and chat wanted to know, where does the contraflow lane end?
The contraflow lane ends in Dublin.
Okay. The contraflow ends in Dublin. And when we say contraflow, that means that we've converted so that all lanes go out. Now, one time, some of y'all can remember, it was rough because we were all packed up on one side and the other lanes, nobody was coming in. So now they shifted them. So now we have all 4 lanes going out which is why it's really important that you know that if you go on the contra lane to the other side, if you're going out on the inside, then you're not going to be able to get back over again until you've left the county, essentially, right?
Yeah, so if they're in the contraflow lane, there are a couple of different exits that are available, but the only contraflow lane that exists is in Chatham County. So that if you are outside of Chatham County, you are out of luck. You are not getting into that contraflow lane.
All right. And so Z and Didi actually had the same type of question. You said something that really stuck with them. So essentially, if you are an essential worker, or if you're mandated by your employer to work and you die, would your insurance then cancel out if you were required to work?
If you're required to work, that's something I'm under the same issue, and that's the same conversation I had with my insurance company. I was like, whoa, wait a second, you see this right here? I work for SEMA, and they said that if you were mandated to work and you were part of that critical workforce team, then that is classified differently. But if you are just a everyday citizen that decided that you knew better than the government and you knew better than the storm, that you were going to stay, that is where you present some of those challenges. Okay.
I'm asking for a friend, how long do Hot Pockets last in a refrigerator that is mostly empty if you don't open it?
So Hot Pockets in a refrigerator.
In the freezer. I mean, this was a big question last week, so I'm just wondering.
So Hot Pockets that are frozen in a freezer that's not very full last right about 24 hours.
Told y'all. I mean, my friend told y'all that. My friend told you all that this was. I told you. I mean, my friend told y'all that. I'm letting that go. But see, I told y'all. Y'all told me to trash some really good stuff. Somebody wanted to know. See, look at that. Mardell wants to know how far ahead of mandatory evacuation is volunteer evacuation.
Oh, so that's a great question. In Chatham County, we don't use the term voluntary evacuation order. We have evacuation order and mandatory evacuation order. Let's hear in the chat, when you guys hear the word volunteer, what does that mean to you?
No.
Yeah, and I don't really have to. If I don't want to show up, if I don't want to jump out of that plane, I don't have to. It's not mandatory, it's not required. So we don't use that term. We use evacuation order and mandatory evacuation order. Now, a lot of times we'll have evacuation orders that will come out sooner. So we'll start with evacuation order of zone A. And then when that threat starts to look pretty severe in our area, we may turn to a mandatory evacuation order. There are some areas within Chatham County that may say, we are going to go ahead and encourage our residents to evacuate the area. So Tybee Island is a perfect example. That could be an opportunity there. They're going to say, hey, we're going to put an evacuation order in place because we don't feel like we would want our residents to be here, but they're not making it mandatory quite yet.
Well, I see we have Pastor Robeson, Charles Robeson on, and I saw Bishop Jacqueline Gilbert Grant on. What role can faith institutions play in helping people to be prepared?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. So SEMA runs a program called the Disaster Faith Network. And I heard you mention Pastor Roberson, and I know Reverend Tillman with First African Baptist Church.
That's
they
right.
both
Pastor
play
Tillman
a
is
role
on as well, right?
Yes, yeah, they both play a role, I can say for certain, in our Disaster Faith Network. We would love to engage them. They can actually, this last hurricane was the first time that we started our Disaster Faith Network calls. So they were able to receive real-time information directly from SEMA in a conference call. They could hear exactly what was going on, what our planning purposes were going to be, and how their house of worship can be engaged. An incredible opportunity. We have about 300 houses of worship that are currently engaged in that program. If you want yours to be involved in it, all you have to do is let me know, and we will get you directly linked in. Because
there's nobody walking on water anymore, and you're not trying to meet the Lord today. I mean, sometimes people think, my faith is going to, no, I think, the Lord gives you common sense. Go. I mean, there are people who stayed in their faith and they died in their faith because they didn't heed the warnings.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think hopefully faith leaders can also be the ones to help say, hey, listen to the science, listen to the scientists. And they say, go, be gone.
Absolutely. And, that's one of our hopes is with this Disaster Faith Network is that we would be able to reach, because most people, I think there was a statistic of like 70 some people are going to turn, 70% of people are going to turn to their house of worship leadership and say, what do I do? They tell me to leave. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. So by empowering our pastors and our rabbis and everyone to have the most up-to-date information and then share that information, that's exactly what we need.
Now everybody's telling me they told me to keep the hot pockets, so y'all wrong for that. Now last week they were like, throw them out. Yeah. Now everybody, I told you to keep them. Joe wants to know, so every exit in Chatham County will be open to receive contraflow traffic, right?
Every exit in Chatham County?
Well, I guess it'd be every exit on I-16.
Yeah, so yes, the exits on I-16 will be open. The contraflow is that middle lane that is going to be, they're doing some work on I-16 and I-95. Everybody's pretty well aware of that. That new contraflow lane is going to be put in, from my understanding, west of I-95 so that people would be able to get to it. And then east of I-95, 16 will maintain and be open so that people can traverse where they need to.
Really glad to have the Honorable Gabrielle Nelson from Port Wentworth, Georgia. We also have the Honorable Linda Wilder Bryant, District 3, City Savannah is on with us as well. What is the importance of people really having a plan? I've seen people, and some of them might be on this chat, that evacuated and had no clue about where they were going to evacuate to. So they show up at somebody's house, their cousin's house or their friend's house that didn't know they were coming, were not prepared to receive them, and frankly didn't have room for them. So how do you, plan ahead about, knowing where you would go or where your family would meet up?
Yeah, so we highly recommend having a plan in place and having a backup plan, because y'all all can think back to a certain storm in 2017, which was Irma, that we said evacuate to the west. And then what did that storm do? It straight went to the west, right up to Atlanta, and came to visit all of our people that evacuated up there. So have a plan and have a backup plan. But y'all, if your plan is to go stay with Aunt Karen and Aunt Karen is not expecting you, y'all doing it wrong. And you're going to do Aunt Karen just a little bit dirty. So what we recommend, bring it up as a solid holiday option. Hey, pass the sweet potato casserole, but also can I stay with you when I evacuate? Whatever, have those conversations up front and make sure that you're bringing the supplies that you can to be as successful as possible.
And Aunt Karen don't like you like that.
Right.
I mean, you think you're really close to her, but, because everybody else is coming over to Aunt Karen's house too. And so, I've encouraged people, hey, know what hotel you like, to fit your needs and have that number on speed dial so you can immediately make a reservation when we think something might happen.
Right.
Bishop Jackie Grant says, don't worry, I'm out.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's out. Mardell says, if public schools close, me and my mom are out of here.
There you go.
And Ms. Charlotte says she misses being a part of the critical workforce. No, you don't. You need to go and get up out of here. Tell that girl to get you up out of there so you could be safe. Idell Bowles wants to know, and it was also a question from Parent University about the construction, about where does the contraflow start now due to the construction?
Yeah, so GDOT, we've been working with them. We have conversations with them on a continuous basis, and they guaranteed that if there was a need for contraflow, that they would make sure that it's ready to go. The exact place that it would be at this moment, I think, would just depend on where they are in construction. I think we would have to hear from GDOT directly of where they would want it to be if it were next week or, a month from now, where exactly they would want it to be, because every day that site is changing because it's constantly under construction. So where it would be exactly right now, I don't have that answer.
Beverly Trotter is sending you some love.
Oh.
And let me see. It used to be at Chatham Parkway. Contraflow starts at Chatham Parkway.
Yeah, so from my understanding, the contraflow lanes are going to be moving west of I-95. So that I-16, because we've run into some challenges with contraflow in the past, where if 16th contraflow, people are calling SEMA saying, well, how am I supposed to get to work? Or how am I supposed to get to the EOC or the Emergency Operations Center? And I was like, well, one of the 5 million other roads that exist, but now they're pushing it west of 95 so that 16 can continue to move in both directions within Chatham County.
Right. Pastor Robertson says that faith leaders are not emergency managers, so they recommend to everyone to always follow the instructions of local officials and SEMA. What about the importance of documentation? Being able to have emergency documents or important documents, birth certificates, social security cards, digitizing them, and then also of cataloging what's in your home.
Oh, both of those are huge things. So first and foremost, yes, having a digitized version of all those important documents is going to save you a lot of heartache. If you don't have some of those things and you were to lose your driver's license or you were to lose some other important document, it could be very difficult for you to track down all of those items. So digitizing them, keeping them on you in an important water safe container is going to be very important. The other half of your question, Mayor Johnson, being able to accurately say what is in your home if you needed to file an insurance claim is going to be huge. So you're not guaranteed, if you have this great insurance policy, if you have renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance that says you have, $20,000 worth of coverage if you're a renter, you have to be able to prove that you have all of those items that add up to that $20,000. You can't just say, give me a check for $20,000. You have to be able to prove I had this computer and it was valued at this amount of money. I have this many pairs of jeans. I have this many shirts. I don't know how many of y'all can actually say how many pairs of jeans you got sitting in that closet, but you need to be able to give them a rough estimate. One of the things I always do before a storm, because I'm a giant nerd, is take a video around my home. I open up all of my cabinets, I open up all of my drawers, and I take a video, because if I see that video, I can pause it and I can say, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about that air fryer that I got for Christmas 2 years ago. That's $100 right there. So being able to adequately catalog those things is important.
And they have apps, that it's important for you for determining value, the model number and the serial number. I mean, I know for my 80-inch TV that I have here in my home, my 80 inches, and I'm saying that documenting 80 inches, it's here. And so you have to be able to have that. And then also things like, pictures that are really, really important to you. Things that are irreplaceable. Take the time now to go ahead and scan them in, create digital copies, or you said put them in airtight containers, lock boxes and things, safe deposit boxes, just so, if they're priceless, then they're priceless.
Absolutely.
And then I finally want to ask you about renter's insurance, because a lot of people rent, and I don't think people really realize that homeowner's insurance covers the home for the owner. It's homeowner's insurance, and does not really cover the renter's property and belongings and things. And renter's insurance is actually cheaper than most people realize.
Absolutely. So renter's insurance is something that I didn't really realize was a thing until I was in my 20s. And I had a friend that found out the hard way. And they had a home fire, and lost a lot of the things, and they weren't covered. The structure itself was covered. Their landlord made out just fine, but they lost all the contents of their home. So renter's insurance is not very expensive. You can get it to cover the amount of items that you think that you would need to replace the stuff within your home. But look around. If you own your own sofa, if you own your own bed, if you've got all of your clothes that are in there, anything that you have, you would want to be able to replace that. You would want to be able to have money to be able to get new things if something were to happen. Renter's insurance is very affordable, and I promise you, you are going to want it if you were to have some type of issue.
Right. And so for my 80-inch TV, and Shannon has a Bentley in her yard parked out front, I mean, it's important to have those things. So if Chelsea, I mean, people would watch this, they want more information, what's the best resources to get additional information?
Yeah, so chathamemergency.org is a fantastic website. That's our specific website. We also have, I don't know if you guys can see, we have these awesome books. They are specific to Chatham County. I designed them in-house. I have 5,000 of these sitting in my office that I would love to give away. They are almost a 30-page booklet. I have them in English and in Spanish. Please, please, please contact our office, 912-201-4500. I will get them to you. You can come pick them up. We can send them out to you guys. I want them in the community. That's why we designed them. That's why they're here. Literally everything that we covered tonight is in this book.
It's 201-4500.
Yes, sir.
And I'm putting her name and number in here, and so don't call her all too quickly. But particularly our faith leaders that are on board, if you send somebody over to get a bunch of them and give them, we have to have people that are knowledgeable. I mean, we saw how Valdosta was hit. And, we just saw it. I mean, and it could have been us. What Chelsea did not say, and I've always heard this, is that because of how Savannah is, that if we got hit directly with a Category 3 hurricane, most of Savannah would be underwater. And so you just keep that in mind. Most of Savannah will be underwater. And we just have to be prepared for that worst. I would also suggest flood insurance. If you don't have to have it, it's cheaper if you don't have to have it, but flood insurance covers rising water, while, of course, homeowners deals with water coming down. So
and Mayor Johnson, renters also qualify for flood insurance as well.
See?
And it covers the contents. When I rented in Savannah for 5 years. I always had flood insurance on top of my renter's insurance. It was very cheap because you're not covering a whole home, you're just covering your things. But if that home were to flood from that rising water, your renter's insurance wouldn't actually do anything.
Right. And keep in mind that people say, well, it costs too much, I don't have the money for it. It will cost you much more if you lose everything. And you look at
FEMA is not, and FEMA is not going to cover those expenses. A lot of times people think FEMA is going to come in and save the day. The max grant, if you own your home, the max grant you can get is about $35,000. That's not going to cover a whole lot. It's not meant to cover a whole lot. So
look at our friends in Florida. I mean, a lot of them hey, and then it takes a while to get. So you want to make sure you have opportunities that are outside that you're able to take care of yourself. So, but Chelsea, thank you so much. I know, Friday night, this is how we hang out on Friday nights, but I know you usually don't. You've had a very busy week. But we wanted to make sure that people understood what was going on and make sure that our folks are prepared.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I always come back and hang out, but also before I end, please do not jump out of a perfectly good airplane. I'm just going to leave it at that.
So you tell me not to do it?
No, don't do it.
Now, all right. Now, okay. Well,
I'm an emergency manager, Mayor Johnson. I do not need to manage that emergency.
But these are the Golden Knights. These are like world-renowned paratroopers.
It just makes me nervous.
All right, well, I mean, you have to listen to the emergency manager. So, I mean, but now, I mean, now everybody thinks I'm going to do it, and people are coming to watch me in my glory, you know, propel down from the airplane down onto Forsyth Park. You know, they're coming to see this. And,
Okay.
you know, and I
And it
don't,
would be real cute if you just like popped in from the side and been like, ha, you know?
but somebody be on social media saying he really didn't jump.
Oh, well, I mean, tell them they can do it then.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And again, appreciate you and Dennis Jones and all the team at SEMA. It's always been a pleasure working with you, and I appreciate your passion for keeping people prepared.
Thank you, sir. Let me know if I can ever be of service.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you. And we appreciate having Chelsea on with us. And hopefully, you know, some information that you can use. That's the important thing. And they do presentations. So if you ever need presentations, just like I asked her, come do it. And so they'll do it for your group, your social group, and all of that stuff. So anyway, I know we ran a little bit over, but any questions, anything I can answer? See, thank you. Thank you. Pastor Tillman, thank you. Pastor Tillman says, I am with you always. And he said, be strong and courageous. That's right. So you never know. Good to see you, Rachel. I'm hope you're doing well. But any questions that I can answer for the city of Savannah? Again, we want to get this information to you, and so that's why we wanted to take the time to do that. Number one. Number two, we wanted to talk about our great initiative that was the Georgia Ports Authority. We're calling it the Port of Savannah Area Workforce Housing Initiative, where we have partnered with the Georgia Ports Authority. They're going to invest $750,000 each year for at least 8 years, totaling $6 million to fund a significant multi-year workforce housing initiative through the city of Savannah. And that's just, I'm overjoyed about that. But any questions about that? Let me see. Let's see, any questions here? Ms. Charlotte is sending me love. And plan exit time. That's right. Yeah, Savannah College Art and Design is downtown. Also, we have the run, the 5K tomorrow. Of course, September 11th is on Monday, and we had honor night tonight. We're doing the run tomorrow, honoring our military and our first responders downtown. So if you don't have to come downtown first thing in the morning, throughout noon, don't do so. Around 7 o'clock, I'll make my triumphant entry into Savannah from the air. So make sure you do that. He said low. Thank you, Ms. Marsha. I appreciate that. And thank you, Ms. Linda. And thank you. We're so happy about that. And Munir from Ruin Thai Cuisine. Oh, now the people are sending me stuff. Just want to remind you all that, of course, you know what I'm trying to do. So today is Friday Night Live. It is also $5 Friday. If you want to support our mission, please go ahead and do so. You have the opportunity to do that. Idell, no, it does not go to Hitch Village. Hitch Village is actually like public housing. Shauna, I'm not sure what was going on at the port. Good to see Miss Monica on. Go Dogs as well. And it's 7 a.m. Parent University's 25th year kickoff sessions on September the 23rd, and I'll be over there. But if you want to go ahead and kick $5 into the kitty, again, we're in this season that I don't like being in, but you have to be in it. And I'm going hard, and we're going to leave no doubt whatsoever in anybody's mind. We want to be overwhelming in our approach. We want to be comprehensive in our way of making things happen. We're looking forward to doing that. So Also, please go ahead and like that page as well. Lenora Moore, hey, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Alice is on, Alice Louise, and Sabrina Wright has joined us as well. And Joe is donating an air mattress to be paid out on the lawn of Foresight. Well, you better get it out there because it's only a couple of hours. Of course, Monday is September the 11th. And we also are celebrating 912 Day on Monday. I mean, on Tuesday, I'm sorry. Today's challenge was, who is your hometown hero? So we would love for you to consider participating in 912 Day. We're showing love to our community. So go ahead and do that. Hey, Deanna, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. And Alice says that target on victory was bananas today. So if there are any questions or anything, go ahead and let's, I'll be more than glad to answer them for you. But, it's that season. It's just where we are. We're 60 days out from this election. And so for those of you that are not registered or you're not sure about your status, we want to make sure that you know about your status. Let me go ahead and send you that. So you can check. It only takes a second to be able to check your voting status. Literally, it only takes a second. But you can check your voter registration status. You can check your mail-in ballot and application status. You can your poll location, your early voting locations, all of that stuff. So yes, there is early voting for that race. So yes. Yes. I'm trying to get this my voter page information so you will have it. And again, it's worth it just for you to take a minute to check your stuff out. Okay. On 11/8/2023, I'm going to be asleep. I'm going to be in a bed somewhere asleep on an island somewhere in the South Pacific. But yeah, if you go right to that site, my voter page, it only takes a moment. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. And so, yeah, there is early voting, and we'll be pushing out information about that. Hey, Major, good to see you. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you. Paula, thank you so much. Alice, I will find out about recycling, and I'm just looking through whatever else we got. But I appreciate you all. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your love. Thank you. Early voting, if you live in the Chatham County Commission District 2, there is early voting going on now. That is a special election. And so if you live in that area, in the County District 2 race, there is a commission race to fill the remainder of the term of Larry Gator Rivers, who passed away. And so, go ahead and be a part of that process. And Beverly Trotter, again, she's been doing a lot of work with getting our neighborhoods and communities prepared in the event of natural disasters. So we thank her so much for all that she does. Thank you, Ms. Vornice, for donating. I appreciate that. And for those of you, again, if you feel so inclined, I'm not mad at you if you don't. But we recognize that we have to get this thing done. Yeah, Joe. Gator has died. Gator's been gone for a couple of months now, man. Matter of fact, let me look and see. Let me see. Gator passed away on May the 14th. May the 14th, he passed away. So, matter of fact, I forgot he actually did make the.
I signed a once in a generation investment.
He actually made the Today Show, and so I need to make sure you all see that. So I will post that as well. So I will post it so you all can see that. So again, very appreciative of all of you. Always good to see Alderwoman Linda Wilder Bryan on with us. Yeah, Joe, Gator passed in May. So yeah, he had been sick for a minute, so I'm really sorry about that. So, but anyway, thank you all so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for the love that we have shared and we have experienced for 181 straight weeks, every single Friday. People can move whenever they want to, but the fact is we got this. We're together. We're stuck like Chuck. We are in a situationship. We're in an entanglement. We's together. And so, you know, we can't be worried about what other people do. We can only be worried about what we do and how we carry ourselves and how we handle ourselves. And that is what we're going to do. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. And again, stay strong, stay strong, stay strong. And Patricia, Dr. West, yes, for the Kai Museum, the city of Savannah, we own that now. We will be owning that. And this is huge for our community. So thank you all. Be safe, be safe, be safe. And again, let's get that weather stuff together. Make sure we are prepared. Carolyn says, we can't stop. We won't stop. We will not stop. And we can't be stopped. Remember, Van can. Van can. Good night, everybody.